What's up, everybody? Welcome back to One More Guitar. Thank you for checking out the channel. Please remember to take 2 seconds and hit the like button if you like the video, and if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. So today I'm going to check out this Boss RC-10R. It's a looper pedal. I've actually shot 3 different videos with this pedal at this point, and it's been kind of hit and miss, so I figured I'd just kind of scratch all that and start over. You may see some footage from that, but there's a lot of good things that I really like about this pedal, but there's a few things that I definitely don't like about it, or kind of make it a little bit of a challenge to use. So we're going to get into that today and just kind of talk about the 5 things that I like and the 5 things I don't like. So let's get going. Alright, so we'll start off with the things that I like about the pedal, and the first thing I want to mention is the fidelity. The sound is really good coming out of this pedal. I haven't had a lot of looper pedals before, but the couple that I've used, you can always tell when you click in the loop and stop playing guitar that the volume goes down just a little bit, or just the quality is slightly less than what it was when you're playing. I don't experience that at all with this pedal, so I think that's really awesome. The second thing on my list is the drum quality. I think the sounds of the samples are really good, and I think the rhythms themselves are really good. There's a lot of different variety and things you have to choose from, different genres and patterns. Of course, it doesn't have everything, but there's definitely some good stuff in there, and everything I've used so far has actually been usable. I haven't had anything that I've just thought, oh, that's trash, let's move on. So I think the drum sounds are really good. Alright, the next thing on my list is the sync function. This pedal's pretty cool if you don't have the sync function on. I mean, you can still do a loop. It's kind of hard to use the rhythm though if you don't have the sync function. But when you turn it on, it really helps you to create a loop pretty easily. What it does is it syncs up the loop and the rhythm at the same time. So you can press the rhythm button, and once it counts in, it starts recording the loop. And then when you click out on the rhythm, it also stops the loop and then starts playing the playback. So I think the sync function is really cool. I'm not sure why they didn't, make that the default setting, but that is the best way to use this pedal for me anyway. Next on my list, speaking of defaults, we'll talk about some of the menu options that they give you. I really like that they give you some flexibility in the menus. There's some things like being able to push the drums out to a PA to go out to the separate channel than the loop. That's really nice. There's an option to set the tempo to be fixed so you can scroll through the drums. You know, set a tempo, look through the drums, see which one sounds best for what you're trying to do. I think that's really useful to know about. You have menu options to be able to control what external foot switches do. So I think that's really nice. Although the functionality is a little lacking there, I wish they would give you some more options. But we'll talk about that a little more in a little bit. Another thing is they have the ability to filter the drums so they sound better coming out of, say, a guitar amp versus a PA, and stuff like that. So definitely a lot of things that you can do to improve your sound and improve your experience with this pedal in the menus. And then number 5 on the things I like about this pedal is that it will work with pretty much any foot switch. Now the manual says that you need to use the Boss foot switches, either the FS 5, 6, or 7 or whatever it is. But those are kind of expensive and they're kind of big to only have 1 or 2 buttons on them. So I did a little experimenting. I tried a couple of piano pedals. I tried the pedal that came with my Marshall. Everything I had worked. So I got on Amazon, I ordered a foot switch. It didn't come with a cable, couldn't get it to work with just a 1/4 inch cable. So I got back on Amazon, ordered another foot switch, and it did work because it came with a cable that allowed it to work. And once I used that cable with the other foot switch, it worked too. So every foot switch I've tried in this has worked. So you can get a pretty cheap foot switch to control some extra functionality if you want to do that. So I think that's a pretty positive thing there. Regarding the foot switch, I tried 2 different switches from Amazon. I tried the dual switch from Mosky Audio and the Ampero Momentary switch. And I'll put links in the description, but the Ampero switch came with the cable and that made the thing actually work. The Mosky Audio switch did not come with the cable. When I used the other cable, it worked. But I just wanted to say that if you're looking for a foot switch for this, I got both of those on Amazon for under 30 bucks, I think. So check that out if you're looking for a affordable foot switch option. All right, now let's talk about the 5 things that I don't like about this pedal. The first thing I'll say is that it only comes with these 2 buttons here. It's good for portability. I mean, they've got the footprint of the unit is small, so that's nice. But at the same time, it's really hard to control all of the looper functionality with 2 switches. I mean, that's tough. And basically, it kind of boils down to just 1 switch. If you're in sync mode, like I said, almost everything is controlled with the rhythm switch. I mean, some stuff you still have to do with the loop switch, but a lot of, when it starts, when it stops, all of that's done with this switch. And the default settings, again, make it kind of challenging, but you can change them, and I have changed mine. But by default, it's pretty tough to use this pedal without getting some kind of external foot switch or mess around in the menu at least. The next thing I don't like about this pedal is that you only get 2 foot switch controls. Now I know it does MIDI and I don't have a MIDI controller, so maybe that would be better, I'm not sure, but inside of the menu you can only set 2 foot switches to have functions, and there's a lot of stuff in this thing that you would like to be able to put on a foot switch, I'll tell you. Changing between track 1 and track 2, or being able to clear stuff, and there's a lot of different things that would be very useful if I could do more than 2 foot switches with this thing. But I am happy that I have 2 foot switch options and not just the ones that came with it. Okay, the next thing I don't like, I mentioned that it's hard to control this with the 2 buttons, but I also said that you can change the settings, that they're configurable. Alright, so what each of these buttons do is they have a function when you press and it's not playing. They have a function when you press and it is playing. They have a function when you double tap. They have a function when you hold it. So you've got at least 4 things you can do. I may be forgetting something, but you've got at least 4 things that you can do with each button. But that is not completely configurable in the menu. Again, I think I could get a lot more use out of this thing if I could make these buttons do what I wanted. If I could say, you do this when I hold it, or double tap or whatever, and it was completely configurable, but it's not. They have like 3 options for each button that, you know, tells you what it's going to do when you do those certain things. So I wish that was a little more configurable. The next thing I'll talk about that I don't like is how hard it is to clear this thing if you're trying to stand up and use it. Alright, so to clear this thing without it playing any music when you're trying to do this, what you have to do is you have to hold down the rhythm button, and then you have to hold down the loop button and clear track 1. Then you have to press the loop button, change it to track 2, hold down the button, clear track 2. It'd be really nice if they had a clear all option that could be controllable from the foot switch somewhere in there. It's not too bad when you're sitting in a chair and you've got both feet to do it, but when you're standing up, it's pretty much a balancing act. You have to, you know, use the front of your foot to hold down the record button while you use the back of your foot to try to push the buttons at the right time, and it can get kind of tricky doing that. So that's one thing I wish they had a better way to clear everything. Now I will say that you can always lean over, change which memory setting you're on, and change back, and it'll clear everything, but you know, that's a bit more than I'm trying to do if I'm trying to perform or something, you know. Alright, so let me show you how hard it is to clear this thing if you have 2 tracks going. Alright, so we'll just start something. So it's ending now, and you can see it went back to track 1. Okay? So what happens if you want to clear track 2? What you have to do is put your foot on rhythm, and then press loop, and then switch up, see? You see, that's exactly what I'm talking about. If you're not really careful, it is hard to do this. Now I've got something in the way here. Let me see if I can make it a little better. All right, so I want to clear track 2. I have to hold this, push it up. Nope. Such a pain. Alright, now I've got something on track 1 and track 2 again. Alright, so now I'm going to try to clear track 2 first and then clear track 1. So I have to hold this. Alright, I'm on track 2. Clear it. Alright, go back to track 1. Clear it. Alright, success. So it can be done, but you can see that it's tough. If you don't have your foot on this just right, the music starts and it's, you know, it's no good. It's no good. All right, and then the last thing that I'll talk about that I haven't seen anything else about online is the fact that the tap tempo does not work on this thing. Don't get me wrong, if you set your controller to be tap tempo and you tap it, the tempo will show up for about 2 seconds, and then it clears right back to what it was. I don't understand that. It's kind of ridiculous. It'd be really nice if I could tap in a tempo. You know, I'm playing with a friend, I tap in a tempo, I turn it on, I've got some drums. That's what I'm trying to go for there, right? But you can't do that. What you have to do is you tap it, you look down, you see what the tempo is, you wait for it to reset, then you press the button, and then you manually dial in the tempo. Again, just not ideal. But like I said, I haven't seen anybody else complain about that online, so maybe something's wrong with my my box here. But if you know how to fix that or know anything about that, please let me know in the comments, because it's driving me crazy. Alright, and so we got a bonus here. There was one item on my list that made both the pros and the cons, so I figured I'd just sneak it in here at the end. If you look at the back of this, it says to only use the Boss power supply. I bought a 1-spot power supply, and I tried to use it in here just to see what would happen. It powered the unit fine, but there was a lot of noise. So I looked at the Boss power supply, and it has a filter on the cable, and I was like, okay, this is why you have to use it. So I'll say on the negative side of things that you pretty much do have to use the Boss power supply for this. If you need to replace one, you're going to want to get the Boss one, because you don't want all of the noise that comes with the other ones. But on the plus side, I'll say that part of my reasoning for buying that one-spot power supply was to power my pedal board. I bought a daisy chain cable and I bought the one spot so I could try that. So I was a little disappointed when it didn't work, but I thought, why don't I just try plugging the Boss power supply into the daisy chain and seeing if it'll power my pedal board, because I've only got like 5. It's a really small pedal board. So it worked fine, and so I was really happy about that. But the one that came with this, at least in my case, is working to power all of my pedals. So I thought that was cool. Alright, that's my experience on the Boss RC-10R. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions about this thing. I'm going to do another video talking about a pedal board I'm putting together for the looper. So if you have some questions, or if you want me to check out anything in between now and then, let me know in the comments, and in the next video I'll try to address them if I can. So I really do appreciate y'all watching. Until next time, take it easy and keep playing.